we used to play a lot of like a Nintendo Switch, so Mario Kart, which is the perfect game for you to hate your significant other. Every time we launch either Mario Kart or Mario Party, we just say to each other like, whatever I say from now on, don't, I don't mean it. Just so you know.
We are ready for another installment of Kill Screen, Metal and Gaming's most unnecessarily niche column out there. I'm Mike.
I'm James.
And ahead of his Nuclear Blast debut and his sixth album overall, Age of Aquarius, we are joined by Perturbator's Mr. James Kent. James, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
We're going to get right down to brass tacks. First question that we like to ask, what was your very first gaming experience?
Okay, I remember my very first gaming experience was playing Doom on my first computer. I'm from '93, and I remember a friend of my parents just gave me his old computer, like big PC, just bulky as shit, and Doom 1 and Doom 2 was installed on them. So that was my first gaming experience. There was a bunch of other stuff as well on there. There was like the puzzle game Myst, like the point and click sort of thing like that. But I wasn't really interested in that. I was playing Doom a lot.
Do you remember what your thought was on Doom at the time? Did it blow you away? Were you thinking this is just the greatest thing ever?
I thought it was fucking awesome. I just enjoy the shooting. I enjoy the movement, the pace, the rhythm of it, which is something I still enjoy in the newest Dooms, like the latest ones that came out. So I'm still playing Doom right now.
Did you pick up Dark Ages?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I finished it. I really enjoyed it. I put myself into this mindset of like I want to like 100% every Doom game. So I started. The only one I have left is Doom 3, which is kind of like the black sheep of the franchise.
Yeah, the final boss.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you normally gravitate more towards like the first person shooter type games or more of a horror thing or all over the place?
I'm mostly a fan of FPS games and especially what they call nowadays boomer shooters.
Yeah.
And there's been like a resurgence of that lately. But I also love survival horror, you know, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Parasite Eve, like all those old stuff. I love both genres. I also like RPGs, but it depends which ones. I'm not too much into fantasy settings, like Skyrim never did it for me.
On the Beyond Synth podcast, you and host
Yeah.
Andy Lass were talking about video games, and he had mentioned that he's a big fan of Elder Scrolls. And you had jokingly referred to him as the enemy. As the two of us are similarly like not into the Elder Scrolls, like we just didn't get it, and
Yeah.
understanding that it was a joke, what did you mean by that?
Fuck, man, I don't remember saying that actually.
What, you don't remember some offhand comment from 7 years ago?
I think it was because I mean the Elder Scrolls is Bethesda, right? And I think
Mhm.
I might have talked about the Fallout franchise at the time. Was it because of that? So I mean, to me, the 3D Bethesda Fallout games are sort of like the modern, like it's kind of like the Elder Scrolls, right? But like in a different settings. You have like the same mechanics and stuff. So maybe that's why I said that. But I have no beef with Elder Scrolls. Just just so you know.
It's, it,
Yeah, no, of course.
it sounds like the fantasy side of it doesn't really appeal to you. Any particular reason on that?
Yeah, I don't know. I never was into like fantasy settings. Mostly into horror, sci-fi. I don't know why. It never like tickled my fancy, basically.
So, beyond Doom Dark Ages, what else have you been playing lately?
That's a good question. I haven't had the time to play a lot of games recently, but there's a lot of games that I wanted to try or that I tried, but like I wanted to sort of expand on and like just keep on playing, but I never find the time. For example, Elden Ring, I just started it and it looks awesome, right? And like the whole open world like expands before your eyes, and I'm like, ah, fuck that, I don't have the time. So I just leave it on the side and never touch it again. But recently, except for Doom, I mean, I've been playing a lot of FPS. I've been playing some Ultra Kill, been playing Selaco and Turbo Overkill, some indie titles, some boomer shooters, basically. Like all of them are like that. And right now I'm replaying Resident Evil 1, the remake. I'm gonna try to get all the achievements on that one too, which is a tall order. There's a lot of games that I wanted to play. There's Balatro that I hear is awesome.
I mean, you basically
There's
give up your life after starting that one.
oh yeah, apparently it's like poker on crack, so
Yeah.
that's a good pitch. Yeah, yeah. Basically, that's it. It's mostly like Doom. Oh, and I'm also playing some Castlevania. Also, I'm playing the Symphony of the Night again on the emulator, and also I started Dino Crisis 2 again.
Dino Crisis isn't one that we hear a ton of mention of. Certainly in line with the science fiction and the horror, though. How's that treating you?
It's harder than I remember.
It
It's a
is.
fucking tough game.
Yeah, it is.
It's really tough. Yeah, I remember it to be scarier than it actually is because I played it as a kid. But I still love it. It's like it's one of those games where you kind of need a walkthrough nowadays to go through it.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I've played Sekiro. Sekiro and Bloodborne are my favorite From Software games. Especially Sekiro because I like the mechanic of like the pairing mechanic. I just really love the. It's almost like a rhythm game in a sense.
Sekiro is one that's definitely pretty divisive. It's one that you either love or hate, but it is an interesting point to bring up
Yeah.
that rhythm game aspect to it. Do you think that having that musical background helped you with your timing in terms of getting those parries correct?
Maybe, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I still kind of suck at it, but you know, it's I'm doing my best. It is kind of enticing to have like this sort of you know question reply kind of like keep like kind of fights in the game. This mechanic is really good. I always felt like the Dark Souls games where there's like a lot of weight to it. The roll is like super weighty and it's slow and I mean by design it's like that. But Sekiro is like pretty fast. It's like a rhythm game, like DDR or something like that almost.
I know that you said that you just started Elden Ring. Did you ever have any interest in playing Night Rain at all? That definitely has much more of that high-paced combat.
Yeah, I gotta get around Elden Ring first, right? Because Night Rain is a DLC that for Elden Ring, right?
No, no. So Night Rain is basically Miyazaki saying, "Oh, kids like Fortnite, so we're gonna make Elden Ring version of that."
Oh,
But instead of
so it's like
PvP,
a
it's PvE.
wait, so it's like a battle royale but PvE.
You squad up with two other people, and then it's kind of this like mini boss rush where instead of fighting against other people, you're trying to collect resources as quickly as possible. And there's this shrinking circle aspect to it. You have two nights to survive, and then you have a third night with a big bad boss, and you have different classes, and it's a whole thing. It's definitely worth checking out.
I should check it out then. I thought it was just a DLC for Elden Ring. I didn't look it up.
Also, though, you're mentioning a lot of single player games. Are you more of a
Yeah,
single player gamer, or do you do any online gaming at all?
I'm pretty much more of a single player gamer. Yeah, because I'm also playing on the go a lot. Like I have a Steam Deck, and when I'm on tour and stuff like that, it's really useful. I have all my games installed on there, and usually when you're like traveling, you don't have a lot of Wi-Fi or whatever. So, and I kind of grew up with single player games anyways, so there's a confusion to working with other people. Playing multiplayer is kind of a hassle for me, but I did enjoy some multiplayer games. I did like play some. some Battlefield back when I was a teenager, Battlefield 3 or Bad Company and stuff like that online. I played Overwatch, the first one, I guess, a lot. But I don't know. It's just when you lose or when you get fucked up, you get frustrated, and I'm like, I want to get frustrated alone, not with a team. And I don't want to frustrate my team also.
I completely get it. I have a nice group of Discord friends that I play a lot of multiplayer games with, and there is that
Hmm.
kind of added anxiety about letting the team down and not wanting to be the weakest link in the chain. But also, like, you can't help but let your frustrations out on whatever other rando you get teamed up with.
Yeah, absolutely.
You had mentioned playing a bit more on the road, on the go. Are you able to get in a decent amount of time while on the road?
Yeah, I mean it's mostly it's mostly the travel days, like the travel time. So it's like, when you do a tour of like 30 shows from one venue to another, then, I go to bed, I just play an hour or two, and then I wake up, I do my sound check, and then I do a little bit of it too, but I don't play as much as I wish I could because, there's like a lot of like live stuff, a lot of music stuff going around, but I'm pretty okay with, the amount of time I have playing video games. I'm also playing at home with my girlfriend and stuff, so it's pretty nice.
Has that been a good bonding activity, or
Yeah, it actually is. Yeah.
Do you have other types of games you play at home then? Like, I don't know, do you usually play like two-player co-op or something at home?
We used to play a lot of like a Nintendo Switch, so Mario Kart, which is the perfect game for you to hate your significant other.
it's a relationship ruiner for sure?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, we every time we launch either Mario Kart or Mario Party, we just say to each other like, whatever I say from now on, don't, I don't mean it. Just so you know.
All's fair in love and war.
Yeah, anything said during the hours of Mario Kart and Mario Party shall not be counted as like applicable to the rest of the relationship, obviously.
Absolutely, yeah.
But deep down inside, you remember every single one of those blue shells. You remember every single star that was stolen in Mario Party.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you had mentioned during the same Beyond Synth interview that you were very interested in the state of the video game industry. Do you still follow the inner workings, or is it much more tangential at this point?
I'm still interested in it, and I'm still kind of like following it, but like from a very outsider's perspective. Because when I did that interview, that podcast with Beyonce, I remember basically playing video games every day and trying new games, and like even some like a lot of indie games and stuff on Steam. But nowadays, the music side of my life took so much space that I see the new stuff that's happening and I hear about it, but I don't have much chance to try it myself or get my own opinion on it. So sometimes I just even watch reviews and stuff. I'd like to play more, basically for sure, but music comes first.
It sounds like you're saying though that even when it's hard to find the time to be, sat down putting in a lot of time at a game, it's still like a part of your life. It's still a part of things kicking around in your daily interest in your head, yeah?
Absolutely. No, it will always be, I think. I don't think there's any moment where I'm not going to be like interested in like a new video game that is fucking crazy. Like, Balatro we mentioned earlier. I gotta try it. I bought it. I have it installed and it's here. It's ready to play and I just have to find the moment. But yeah, I'm always interested in new stuff and new interesting video games.
Even as somebody who spends a lot of time on the road and music is the primary thing in your life, why is it then important for video games to be part of who you are, part of your identity, part of your routine?
I don't know if it's gonna sound cliche, but like my music is a amalgamation of like it's a melting pot of everything that I love, like pop culture wise. It's not just, movies from the 80s and it's not just music, like synth music that I love, like John Carpenter and stuff. It's also video games because I grew up playing video games. So it will always have like a sort of effect on me. You know, for example, I my first console was a PlayStation 2, and I got GTA Vice City on it. I was, I don't remember, like 11 years old or something, and GTA Vice City was like the soundtrack is amazing. So right now I'm like looking forward to GTA 6.
That
So
is a hell of a game for an 11-year-old. Jesus Christ.
yeah, my parents were kind of reckless.
You had cool parents.
Yeah, yeah. I remember like back then you didn't have internet was like kind of like a scarce resource, so you had to print the cheat codes, right, on a piece of paper, and I remember playing Vice City after school, and my dad looks at the printed sheet of like the cheat codes. It says like, oh, how to kill a prostitute but keep your money. And, and he was like, ah, fuck.
Did you get to keep Vice City after that, or were they like, all right, we got to dial this one back?
No, no, I got to keep it. They were laughing about it. It was like, I didn't know what a prostitute was back then. I was too young.
But you brought up, Perturbator being an amalgamation of the things that you love and video games being a part of that. You mentioned the Vice City soundtrack. Were there any other soundtracks that you can point to as being influential or any specific composers, or did you kind of prefer the soundtrack formula to the OSTs?
I would say Akira Yamaoka, the guy who made all the soundtracks for Silent Hill, almost all of them. There's one that he wasn't there for.
I think it
So
was
that's
Homecoming he didn't do.
I think he was on Homecoming too. Yeah, he was on I think he wasn't on Downpour.
He definitely did not do Downpour. No, he wasn't on that one.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
He
Which
didn't
is
do the
not a very
corn
good
one.
Silent Hill game. Yeah, he didn't do
No,
the
not
corn one. Yeah,
no. That was not exactly the high point of the series.
no, no, no. That's yeah, he was not missed there. But no, like the soundtracks he did for 1 through 4, even Homecoming is the music is so like unlike anything I've ever heard. It's so him. Like it's so Akira Yamaoka. You hear it and you know it's him. So I love that, and of course some Final Fantasy music. A lot of it. Sorry, and Manhunt. The game Manhunt has an amazing soundtrack. Very synthy, very dark and brooding.
Interesting. That one doesn't get mentioned a lot with the popular soundtrack discussions.
Yeah, well, I think it has an amazing soundtrack. It's more on the very dark, synthy kind of like bad feel vibes. You feel bad listening to it.
Oh, you feel bad playing those
Yeah,
games.
that's what I was going
I
to say.
think
I
so
mean,
too.
that
Yeah.
as a whole, that game just makes you feel kind of terrible about yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of video game soundtracks that are super, super. How to say, like you remember it. Sorry, I forgot the
Memorable.
memorable. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, like a lot of survival horrors. The Resident Evil. They have like their safe room music, all their own little different ones.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm just really into video game soundtracks as much as I am into movie soundtracks. Yeah.
Do you ever collect physical versions of soundtracks, or is it all digital for you?
No, I don't actually. I'm not much of a physical media kind of guy. I collect DVDs of movies that I like, but other than that, I don't collect video games nor video game soundtracks because I just don't have the space and the money.
I've spent far more money than I'm willing to admit on video games, and it is a commitment for sure.
Yeah. Also, I kind of like the easiness and the availability and the carefree thing about having all your games on one platform. So Steam for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got that Steam Deck. You can bring literally
Yeah.
everything with you anywhere. How's that been treating you?
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, this is not an endorsement of Steam Deck by any means, but
Hashtag
I've
not sponsored.
Yeah. But I fucking love it. I love the fact that like the cloud saves. It saves on the cloud. So if I'm playing on the Steam Deck or if I'm playing on my PC, I don't have to restart the game or whatever. It's the same save. Extremely convenient.
So, to me, electronic music almost feels kind of like an oxymoron in 2025. The
Hmm.
music is meant to play on visions of a future dominated by technology, but there is such a strong deference to the 80s and 90s, or at least their kind of vision of what the future is meant to be. Where do you personally lean in terms of the mindset of retro versus modern when it comes to both music and gaming?
Okay, well that's a good question. I'm not super attached to like anything retro, like whether it's retro music, which I love, but I'm not like completely attached to it, or retro games. Like I just tend to lean more towards stuff that I used to like and when I was younger, and so it was old music or new wave and stuff like this, and also old games like first Resident Evil and stuff like that. And I think making music nowadays and making music inspired by video games and making, I think you need to not get like tunnel vision. It's not like if it's retro, it's good. The music you make needs to be inspired by the past, if you wish it to be, but not to be a recreation of the past, if that makes sense. Just like in video games, like you need to, learn from the past and expand on it. To me, the when I say electronic music to describe what I do, it's more of a like I take a lot of little inspirations, but I'm not trying to recreate anything from the 80s or anything. I'm just trying to make my own, and you can hear the influences obviously, but it's not trying to cater and to be a remake or a redo of the past, basically. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, that amalgamation that you mentioned before, like a connection to things that influence you from yesteryear, but at the same time also an interest in moving forward.
Yeah, it has to be a move forward. Yeah, I think so.
You can look at stuff like voxel games, these kind of like pixelated games that are 3D, but kind of a tribute to the past that definitely lean on that modern technology, that modern lighting to give it more of a modern sensibility. So it doesn't have to be just another, I don't know, Symphony of the Night clone.
Absolutely. Even in like 2D platformers, 2D pixel games, even the graphics, like even if it's pixel, the good ones, for example, Blasphemous.
Amazing game.
Yeah, amazing game. It couldn't have been done in the past because it's like so detailed. The mechanics are very refined. I think they took a lot of inspiration from the past, but they made it their own, and it's like still it looks like a modern game.
Are you excited for their Ninja Gaiden game that's coming out?
I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence. I haven't played Blasphemous 2.
I also have not played Blasphemous 2, but I'm curious, why are you on the fence with the Ninja Gaiden?
I don't know yet, actually. Like Ninja Gaiden for me is like known for its incredible difficulty. I think it's like the main appeal of it. And so I wonder if they're gonna make it as difficult or if they're gonna lean on that factor, like, oh, we're gonna make it like super fucking hardcore. I'm not sure yet. I don't know.
Certainly a right balance to strike. I mean, there definitely is such a
Yeah.
thing as too much when it comes to that difficulty. And there is kind of that interest in incredibly difficult games these days, thanks to Bloodborne and Dark Souls and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of get good games, and maybe it's just me, but sometimes it's like, oh man, I know I need to get good, but this is fucking bullshit.
It's meant to be recreation. It's meant to be your downtime. And like when some of these games require like a master's degree just to see the end credits, it's like why bother doing that when you can do literally anything else?
Yeah, there was a 3D Ninja Gaiden game, right? No, or maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah, the Sigma games. Those were great.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. Apparently, they were pretty fucking hard too. I think I played like half of one of them, and they were really fucking hard too.
They're tough. They're very rewarding though, in that like if you keep fighting the boss over and over, you get a little further, a little further, a little further, and you do feel like you
Yeah,
mentioned some things like the get good versus the this is bullshit. Those definitely lie on the side
yeah,
of the get good because like you feel the progress, you feel like you're moving further and getting better, and I really enjoyed those for that reason.
yeah. There were moments when I was playing Secure where it was like, man, I really gotta get good. I'm leaning towards the this is fucking bullshit, and then I stop before I smash my controller or whatever, and then I just come back to it next day, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fucking do it. And there is this incredibly rewarding thing about overcoming a boss or whatever, like a moment in the game. And I agree, this is the appeal of those games. Absolutely, you feel very rewarded. Blasphemous was pretty hard too. I think I felt like.
There are definitely some times
Yeah,
where you die over and over and over until you get it right.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
But I will say, Blasphemous, tough but fair.
Yeah,
And that's kind
agreed.
of the
tough but
beauty of a
fair.
lot of
Yeah,
these like Dark Souls like games, where the ones that do it poorly just lean super hard on that difficulty. But the ones that do it well and know how to dance on that knife's edge are the ones that know how to make it difficult, but give you all of the tools necessary to overcome whatever challenge is in front of you. And then it's like, if you fuck up, then you feel like, oh, this is my fault. Like, my bad game.
And
I'll do
I
better
think
next time.
Blasphemous did a really good job of communicating what you're supposed to do to it, where it was like, oh, clearly what you need to do is dodge first attack, jump second attack, and then parry third attack or whatever. It was
yeah,
clear, like,
yeah.
this is what you need to do against this particular opponent.
Yeah, yeah. Then there's this part where it's like the hand vision coordination, where it's like, oh, okay, I know what to do. Now I just need to do it. That's the part that people have to get good at, obviously.
I want to come back to your new album and something that you briefly touched on earlier.
Hmm.
This is my conspiracy brain. So, the press release for your upcoming album discusses the concept which explores violence, groupthink, and hyperpolarity. Do you think that the popularity of PvP games like Call of Duty, Fortnite, League of Legends feel at all related to this growing sense of hyperpolarity in everyday society? These kinds of like
Oh, that's
team-based games that really pit people against each other. Like you had mentioned Overwatch. I've definitely been in Overwatch games where you get to that post-game lobby and it is just 12 people talking shit to each other nonstop.
shit slinging. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, that's a good question. Yeah, I think it might. I tried League of Legends, for example, and it's just toxic as shit. The people there,
Oof.
it's it's really bad. It's really bad, and it's like you better be ready to get like insulted and get berated and shit when you want to start those games. And no, I agree. Maybe there's something like that. Like people just through the prism of an anonymity, they feel like they can say some mean shit to you, and it's like us versus them, and a lot of conflict in the mentality. And
It was just kind of interesting for me to think about when I'm watching the video for Art of War, where you
yeah,
have all of these munitions and you have all of these soldiers that are these 3D generated models. But it really brought to mind things like Call of Duty and some of the
yeah,
really terrible, toxic shit that, I've only ever played Call of Duty a little bit. After that, I was
same.
just like, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, yeah, same. That's also why I don't play a lot of multiplayer games because I don't. It's not that I don't have what it takes to just talk shit and get shit on my end, but it's just like it's just tiring to fucking get berated trying to prove something to oneself and like prove something to your team and stuff like that, and it does breed like a very toxic environment in most games that are multiplayer. So which is why I like to play single player games mostly. But even then, single player games, if you play them like in front of a bunch of people who also play this game, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you fucking shit at this game," or this kind of stuff. I really don't know exactly. I'm really not the best person to talk about, social stuff like that. But yeah, I do see that, you know, gamers are very easy to get mad at something, and, very black or white sometimes.
Happier subjects, lighter subjects.
Sure.
It's impossible to discuss Perturbator without discussing the Hotline Miami games. How
Yeah,
did you come to be a part of these soundtracks?
I got a message on Facebook, of all things, from the two developers, Dennis Whidden and Jonathan Soderstrom, sorry, bad pronunciation.
You're going to do better than us, I'm telling you that right now.
They basically asked me if they could use some of my music on the game, like on the first Hotline Miami. They were building the game, and I was like, yeah, for sure. And they asked me if I could commission the track, which I did. It was really strangely casual, and I don't think they even knew how popular the game would be back then. Because they sent me a build of the game that was like without the masks, but there were still levels you could still play, and it's still like I was like, oh, this is fun. It's pretty fucking hard, but it's pretty fun. So I did make the tracks and sent it to them. Pretty easy. I remember signing a bunch of like legal stuff and royalty stuff and getting paid. And I was like, oh shit, that's actually a good gig. When I remember when the game came out, everybody went nuts. Said that the game was amazing. Said that the soundtrack was amazing, and I don't think they expected it, and I didn't expect it myself that the game would get so popular. And now it's pretty much like kind of legendary right now.
It sounds like it was a pretty natural progression then. It just like kind of went smoothly during the process for you, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. It was like talking to you guys, like super easy. And I remember I was playing The Last of Us Part 2, and there's a part in the game where you kill somebody. Like it's a cutscene, and like the character that you kill has a PSP, and she's playing Hotline Miami. And I was like, holy shit, Hotline Miami is everywhere. Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
it's like a Easter egg or whatever, something like that.
So when you were being courted to do these songs, was it important that the game was fun? Like, were you on the fence until you played the early build and you're like, okay, this is fun? Or were you interested from the go?
I thought that the game was fun, but because it was an early build, I thought that the game was pretty hard. Way harder than it actually is. It was on the release, I mean. But I was like, hey, I love the setting, I love the mood, I love what they're trying to do. So I'm just gonna make the tracks. I didn't finish the game, I didn't play the whole build, but then I definitely did play all of it.
The soundtracks to these two games kind of felt like an introduction not just to the musicians that contributed to it, but to the concept of what would become known as synthwave to the world at large. Did you feel that boost in attention after Hotline Miami came out, or did you feel like your profile was already kind of building prior?
Oh no, there was a huge boost. The Hotline Miami games like helped a lot. I don't think Perturbator would be where it is right now without those games. Absolutely not. I do owe it to them a lot, to both the games and Denaton and Devolver. Yeah,
Have you had people explicitly say to you, like, oh, yeah, I was playing this game and I heard your music and now I think it's really great and I'm super into it?
a lot of people, most people who talk to me after I play a show or something like that, they say, I've heard you the first time when I was playing online. That's how most people, I think, discover my music. I really owe it to them, and I'm really thankful for that, for sure, absolutely.
So, in an interview with Game Maker's YouTube channel, Jonathan explained that
We wanted to have music that didn't sound like a video game.
electronic music has always been part of video games, but what would become known as synthwave, if at that time wasn't considered sounding like a video game, has since gone on to become a dominant genre within the video game industry.
Yeah.
Does it feel validating that that soundtrack in particular had such a not only deep impact, but such a long lasting impact? I mean, we're going on 13 years since the first game came out, and synthwave is just as relevant today as it was back then. Does it feel good to be such a huge influence on the industry as a whole, or are you kind of concerned about synthwave and electronic music being cheapened a little bit by people who are trying to do this kind of stuff but worse?
Well, the answer is a little bit of both, actually. It is very rewarding and it's very flattering to know that the kind of music that not just me, but many other people were making back then was defined by this game and got widely known appreciation through Hotline Miami. Nowadays, I hear a lot of like synthwave. I hear a lot of like 80s influenced music in indie games, and even games that I really enjoy, like boomer shooters that play, or like they have like the synth music playing, and I'm like, I'm sure they played Hotline Miami, But also, I don't want this music to be cheapened, or I don't want it to be like the standard for, if you have a sci-fi setting in your video game, or if you have like a high paced, I don't know, action setting, and you have like this by default synthwave music. It shouldn't be like an asset, like a very easy way to do music soundtracks. You know,
That it becomes kind of just the go-to, the simple this is what you do, and becomes kind of copy and paste of the same thing. And just because you have scenario A with a motorcycle chase, therefore you must have this music.
absolutely, yeah, exactly. So it's a little bit of both. It is flattering, but it's also like it doesn't have to be everywhere. I mean,
So since then, you've contributed to soundtracks for games like Battleborn, Dead Island 2, and Cyberpunk 2077. Are there any other soundtracks that you wish you could have contributed to? And do you have any interest in contributing to more games or possibly taking on the challenge of scoring an entire game by yourself?
so actually, I wish I could score a horror game. I have a bunch of side projects, and I have one where I make ambient music, like dark ambient, and I always wanted to try my hand at like making a horror game soundtrack.
What kind of horror game are you talking? Are you talking like, I don't know, just because you had mentioned Resident Evil and Silent Hill, are we talking like old like fixed camera angles? Are we talking like more modern first person walking sim? What kind of thing?
Paint a picture for us right now. Give us
Because
all of the mechanics.
well, no. I'm just talking about because those are different
could,
pitches. Like those are different styles of game.
yeah, it
I'm
is. Yeah,
kidding.
yeah. It could be any of them. Like, I play a lot of horror games, and I play a lot of, as you already know, you probably do know, there's a lot of like pretty shitty indie horror games on Steam. Like, like Walking Simulator, you have a flashlight, you have to find some pages or whatever, and it's like, it's always the same.
It's the same shitty assets that they flip in every single game. It's the same
Asset
shitty
flips,
house.
Yeah.
it's the same shitty house, and it's like, okay, well that game's not scary. They always go to like this little piano soundtrack, like creepy piano, and I'm like, you can do better than that, If you listen to Akira Yamaoka, which we mentioned earlier, his music is fucking weird as shit, and that's what creates like this kind of chill in your spine, Like it just sounds so strange and so unpredictable, and I always wanted to try something like that. I don't have the mechanics, I don't have the game in my head. It's like I'm just kind of waiting for somebody to send me a pitch, actually. I think there's a game called Tormented Souls
Yeah.
that came out that is a horror, like survival horror that I wanted to try. I got it. So I'm gonna check that one out. And there's another one called Post Trauma that I also wanted to try.
I just bought that recently, yeah.
Yeah, Post Trauma with the guy, the old man. I want to try those two games, and I want to see the soundtracks. I'm like super interested in listening to that. Yeah, I want to do horror games probably next time.
If the developers of Tormented Souls are working on Tormented Souls 2, they should get in touch.
Which they are.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Maybe,
Souls
yeah.
2 is already announced.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Are you excited for Silent Hill F and whatever new Silent Hill remake Bloober Team is making? Like, are you excited to go back to these worlds, or are you looking more for new stories and worlds to experience?
I'm very curious about Silent Hill Half because it's a very new setting, and I'm also interested. I've heard that Bloober Team is making a remake of the first Silent Hill, which is most needed of a remake, I think. So I'm excited for both. I mean, let's see. I think they knocked it out of the park with Silent Hill 2, the remake.
Dude, as a guy who was like the biggest hater going into that, they definitely won me over. I was so ready for that to be a giant turd.
Yeah, Silent Hill 2 is my favorite. Yeah.
They could have easily really messed that up, but instead they did not, and they got it totally right.
Yeah, it was a hard one to pull off, and I didn't even like any of the Bloober Team games beforehand. I didn't even like Layers of Fear.
Layers of Fear was fine, but it was just like a tech demo.
Yeah. I was like, they're gonna fuck it up.
And definitely gave you reason to be concerned with exactly that concern. Like, oh man, like this is top of the industry. Can they deliver on something at that tier? Like, is it gonna, be the game it should be? You know?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
You described electronic music as being very visual. Is this why you feel like it lends itself so well to the medium of gaming, even though orchestral audio has been available for decades?
I think it is. When you think about orchestral soundtracks, you mostly tend to think about movies for some reason. Electronic music, it's an abstract genre. It could be Justice and Daft Punk, or it could be some weird dark ambient made in the basement of some guy. But it's all electronic music, and it's all made with like machines and computers, and it's very much like video games. It's a medium that is a vast expanse that can be explored and that can be toyed with and experimented with.
There are a number of people that we've interviewed who are dying for a shot to get their music in a game. To you, which feels like it would have a greater impact? Getting your music in a movie or getting your music in a game?
Ooh, I think, damn man, I think,
Putting you on the
I think
spot.
in, I think in a game. I think in a game actually, absolutely a game. Yeah, unless that movie is Blade Runner 3. I mean,
Yeah.
Right, right. But no, what motivates that decision? Like, why did you decide on game there as compared to movie?
I don't know why. I think a video game is something that you experience, so people tend to like replay them. There's a lot of replayability. There's a lot of like people go back to these games more than sometimes they go back to movies. And movies are, I mean, I know it's like the trinity of like visual, sound, and movement or something like that. But video game, you have like the interactability. So it's like you are the movement, you are the character, and so they tend to resonate more with the music. I think when you play Red Dead Redemption and you hear like a cool fucking track playing while you on your horse, it has more impact than if you're watching a cowboy movie and there's like a soundtrack playing while you're watching people being on a horse. Maybe, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense because we talked about horror games. You think about like I don't know. I'm going to pick an obvious one that for something I can talk about would be Resident Evil. And when you get to the guardhouse, when you go down into that lab for the first time, you hear some really spooky music, and you can connect to that. I think sometimes a little bit more because when you go down that ladder, you know that this music will follow rather than like you said, if you're watching a movie and a character just goes along in this scene.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the sound in video games like interacts way more with the player than it does somebody who watches a movie. So like if you watch a horror movie, somebody goes in the basement and there's like a spooky sound or like spooky music coming up and you're like, don't go there, don't go there. But it's like the character is still gonna go there. The movie still plays. But I remember a part in Silent Hill 2, when you first get into the apartments, like the first kind of location of Silent Hill 2, and there's like a set of stairs, and when you go to the third floor, the camera gets slanted, like slanted angle, and you hear like a very creepy, awful sound. And I remember when I was playing it when I was young, I heard that sound, and I was like, no, that means bad shit. I'm not gonna hear. And I just backtracked. I just went fuck it. So that interacts more with the player, with you.
I'll take it even a step further and I'll apply specifically to horror games. So I've been saying for years that I think, as no disrespect to any other art form, that video games are the greatest form of art that humanity has come up with to date. It takes the best parts of visual art, whether that be illustration, sculpture through modeling, theater, cinema. It takes audio. You got to come up with the music. You got to come up with the audio design. And it takes science. You got to come up with the physics for this world. You got to come up with the math that makes everything work. And it puts it together into this one digestible piece where the missing component is you, the player, the immersion, the interactivity. And on top of that, you can't be a passive enjoyer of video games. Like, you can watch a Let's Play of something, but you're not really playing a game at that point. You're just watching a video. So if you enjoy video games, then you have to be the one to push forward on the controller or push W on a keyboard in order to make things progress. So when you're in the apartment buildings in Silent Hill, you could just as well say, fuck this, I'm not doing this, and shut the game off, and you never find out what happens. Even if it's a completely scripted event, you're experiencing it on your own terms, and nobody's experience of a video game is going to be 100% the same across the board. Movies are very much on rails, and the same people are going to see the same scene exactly the same way. In video games, I remember a friend of mine playing Resident Evil 8, The Village, and she literally got to the first shack in the game, like, not even the village. And she was like, I'm not going in there. I don't want to do it. I don't want to play this game. And she didn't, and she stopped playing. And that's a whole experience in and of itself.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you said.
To close this out, are there any games that are coming up that you're looking forward to picking up?
Any games that I'm looking forward, Silent Hill half. I'm also looking forward to the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. Out of curiosity, I don't know if they're gonna fuck it up or not again, but it's a game from my childhood. We'll see. And well, as I said, Grand Theft Auto 6. So far, that's all. Yeah, basically.
So what do we got to do to get Hideo Kojima on the line with you to get this pairing going?
Yeah. Oh, I would love to work with Hideo Kojima. I would love to. Yeah.
I got one more question for you. If somebody's a big fan of your music and would like to play a game that you would recommend to them, what game would you say, hey, fan out there on the internet, go check this game out?
Oof. Okay. I'd say, I would say absolutely right now. Shit, it's a tough one.
You got one.
I got one.
Gun to your head,
I
you only
just
got one game.
I got one. I'd say Turbo Overkill. Play that one. Play Turbo Overkill. It's tense, it's fast, and it's really enjoyable.
Did she ever go back to the game?
No. I took over the controller and I played until she left. I don't think she's been curious ever since. I mean, her loss, let's be honest.